I'm going to do that now. Okay, so we're back on to Chaguaramas and we're going to continue on to confidence. So to play your best game, confidence is important. And one of the things that sometimes we mix up with confidence is expectation. And in fact, it's very important to get these definitions correct, first of all, so we're all talking from the same page. And confidence is based on your belief in your ability to execute, while expectation, on the other hand, is very judgmental, and it's very much placed on how you perform and the outcome versus your belief in yourself and your skills and your ability. So a lot of the times when you are playing golf, you will realize that you can make common mistakes that when you hit a bad shot, you start to question the mechanics of your shot. I'm trying to get right. So you hit a bad shot and you start to question your swings and your mechanics. You start to wonder about the score and how this particular round is going to turn out. And that takes away from your game. It reduces your confidence. It eats away at your confidence. So that is something that we want to ensure that we stay away from. And one of the great ball strikers said, that's Ben Hogan, he only hits 3 or 4 shots just as he imagined it in his mind during a round of golf. The rest are just good misses. So when you hit a bad shot, taking yourself into changing up what you have trained to do, taking yourself into worrying about your score, those things are what depletes your confidence. So confidence is simply a belief that precedes your performance, such as when you see a good shot and feel like you will hit a good shot prior to execution. But confidence is void of any strict expectations. So expectations can rob you of your confidence. Expectation on yourself as you play is a negative attitude, while confidence is a positive attitude. Expectations put demands on yourself. And while confidence, you accept that you are human, you will make mistakes, things wouldn't be perfect. And again, expectations focus on outcome. While you're playing, you don't want to be consumed with, I have to make a par here, or I have to make a birdie here. Focusing on your skill and execution is what will build your confidence or maintain your confidence throughout the round. So you're not judgmental in terms of what you expect yourself to do. Non-judgmental allows you to maintain your confidence. Unreasonable beliefs is what expectation imposes a pressure on someone. So you have to believe that you are prepared, you are capable of doing these things that you expect yourself to do, yes, but while you're playing, that expectation must be removed to allow your confidence to continue. So how, you may say, how do I do that? How do I not put expectations on myself? And last day we spoke about refocusing. And when that happens, when you start to think about, oh, I'm disappointed, I didn't do this on this particular hole or this particular shot, you have to use the refocusing techniques. And the refocusing, what you want to refocus on are the process goals. Small goals that will allow you to maintain your technique and to maintain focus and maintain your confidence. So you are performing with no expectations and replacing strict expectations with high level of confidence by managing process goals. And you may remember to refocus. You are going to use your senses as we spoke about in the last session. So those are the techniques that will come into play when you want to come back to your process goals versus all the expectation thoughts that might be raging at the time. So this is a confidence revelation. You have to decide, you have to make up your mind, you have to nurture your mind in a way where you decide what it is that I want to improve on for this round or for this period. And at that time, you need to set 1 or 2 process goals that will help you focus on execution. If you recognize that you are thinking about results or on expectations, you refocus at that time during the round and you focus on a process goal. You may say, what is a process goal? You can choose a number of small tasks that keep you in the moment that is related to that shot and that shot alone. And that particular example that I have here, but there are many you can come up with depending on what you want to work on, is like picking a specific target on every shot. That is something that is a goal that you want to do. It's important. That's part of your process goal. Or that is one of your process goals. So the process goals allow you to stay in the present moment. It allows you to release the outcome or the results, focusing on execution only, focusing all your energy on what you have to do now, what is important at that present moment, being immersed in the moment, so that the skills that you have honed in training, the skills that you are developing, you are also able to perform them confidently. So, the first person who told me about staying in the present and shook me up was Coach David Brazan, because he mentioned to me a few years ago, because he talks about coaching and the mental game. He told me, you know, Emily, you can be nowhere else but in the present. So that made me think, well, physically, yes, we can be nowhere else but in the present. So your body is always in this present moment. It's our mind we have to be concerned about, that it's not going into the past, it's not going into the future when we're executing our shots. So that we have to stay and bring our body and mind as one. Be here now. So process goals are really small tasks to help us immerse ourselves in our present tasks, in the present moment. So you must not evaluate or judge your achievement of your process goal either, because now then you will change it into an expectation or an outcome, and it will take you away from being absorbed in the present moment in executing your shot. So do not turn your process goals into expectations. I'm not saying that you don't need to think about the past and the future and assess your game, but while you're playing, that is not the time to be doing that evaluation. Your process goals are what will allow you to play your best game, and that type of evaluation can be done after your game, not during your game. So it's important that we maintain being here in the now. And after this session, I want you to take some time to work out what are the process goals or the process thoughts you are going to use in your next round of golf, and the refocusing techniques that you're going to implement each time those outcome or results oriented thoughts come into your mind, which depletes your confidence. Now, it will take some time, but it's important that you nurture your mind and you accept that this is a route that you're going to try and you're going to take in terms of building your confidence. So that is the main topics that I wanted to discuss today, but I want to open the floor now. I got a message from Coach Tony saying that he had a delay at his workplace. You know, a lot of places have started back with golf, and a lot of people today are really trying to implement procedures to work in this new environment. But I see Mitchum is on the line, and I would like to ask him to share with me some of his thoughts while he is working on his confidence, and if he uses process goals, and if outcome thoughts come into his mind while he's playing, how does he deal with it? Mitchum, would you unmute? Are you there?
Hey Emily, what's going on? Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So tell me, do you use this technique of putting to sleep those outcome thoughts while you are on the course? And how do you stay in the moment? Share with me what you do.
Well, I mean, like everybody else, when you hit bad shots, you're gonna have bad thoughts. That's just natural. What I try to do is not to dwell on those thoughts very long, and just remind myself of what it is I need to do to continue to hit good shots. You know, so if I have an 8-iron into the green, what do I need to do? And how do I need to put my feet, my body, my weight, whatever it is, however I need to put the hands on the club, whatever it is I need to do to get me to be able to hit a good shot. So that's what I try to focus on as much as possible. Yes, bad thoughts do come in, but you know, you're trying to constantly focus more on what I'm trying to do versus what I want to happen.
Excellent, excellent. And I like how you speak about, you know, how your weight is balanced, how you're holding the club, because that is the immediate things that is about execution. So those are execution thoughts, and those are not thoughts about what I'm going to do on this hole, or am I going to par this hole, or am I going to hit it in the bunker, all sorts of those outcome or results oriented thoughts. You find a way to put it at bay. Thank you very much for that contribution. I want to also get the contribution from one or two of the other golfers that I'm seeing on the line. I'm seeing Sarah is here. Can I unmute you, Sarah? And
you want to say something?
No. I want to ask you a question, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm all right.
Great. I know that your game has improved a lot over the years that I've known you. And I know in particular your putting, and you know, putting is something that, you know, the mental game is so important. I wanted to find out from you, is there any particular thought that you use that allows you to build your confidence during the rounds, or if there's something related to outcome goals or thinking about the score, and how does that affect you during your round?
Okay. Well, like one thing that I've noticed with myself with the last, few championships that I played in and I won was that what helped me is that I set goals for myself on that particular day. So like I feel each day when you wake up, you don't feel the same. Some days you're gonna feel better than others. Some days you're gonna be more patient and tolerable of certain things. So it's like I kind of assess how I'm feeling, and like for the first few holes, I see how things are going. And like if I'm having a good start, you know, like I start off with my goals before I start the round. So like I just want to get fairways, greens, and sink some putts. But say if I say if things go wrong, I readjust my plan so that I can get back on track. But the main thing is I focus on my goals all the way through. And like if things are going wrong, uh I just change up my plan in order to get myself back on track.
Excellent. You know, accepting what is happening is important. And I hear that resonating in what you say there in terms of, you know, every day is different and we have to accept ourselves and what is happening on the particular day. So thanks for sharing that, Sarah. We
Sure,
really
no problem.
appreciate that. I want to open up the line to anyone who would like to make a comment related to maintaining your confidence, an experience that you may have had that you want to share, or a question that people in the audience here can maybe discuss as well, because we want to ensure that we give everyone an opportunity to share because we can learn from each other. Would anyone in the audience want to comment or say something about an experience they may have had?
Hi, Emily, it's Steve.
Yes, Steve.
So it's not an experience I had per se, but I've been watching this show on Netflix. It's called Last Dance, and it's about Michael Jordan and the last championship they won, the Bulls, that is, right? And of course, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever, right? In my head.
Yeah.
And he's a super confident player.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways he builds his confidence is by practicing. And he practices the same way he plays on the court in a game,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when he gets all those reps in, all those repetitions, what he said is by the time he gets to the court to play in a real game, nothing is different for him. There's no pressure. He's confident every time he goes to shoot because he's done all of it in practice. And that's so that builds confidence, right? So that's one of the things I find that I don't do enough, which is I don't practice enough. And in this little off time with the COVID response, I was able to do a little bit of practice on my front lawn. And there are some specific things that I feel that I'm more confident at now just because of that little practice that I failed to do. Instead of going to the range and doing that practice, or going to the back of Shark to practice a little bit regularly, just feeling to do that impacts your confidence. So when you actually go into a game, you feel like you're doing it for the first time. You're not sure what to do. When you practice, you get all those reps up. You're not hesitant. You're not wondering if I'm going to do this and do that. So I think practice is part of what builds confidence and your mental focus as well.
Definitely. Thanks for that contribution, Steve. You know, strange enough, when you practice a lot, but you go into tournaments and you break down, that is when you know that your mental game is what you need to work on. And I think a lot of our golfers, I'm included, of course, I practice a whole lot, you know, and not everybody, but a lot of us practice. We hit a lot of balls when we're training. I'm not on the training phase now, but definitely those of you all who are not practicing, please, even at home, as Steve said, even when we go back out on the course, every day you could do a few little putts at home. You would not believe how that improves your hand-eye coordination and builds your confidence. When you practice your putting, that improves all your shots. And similarly, even swinging the club without hitting a ball, your muscle memory and stuff like that. So building in practice in your daily routine is important. Very, very important. I see John Mark is here. I would like him to share with me what is his practice routine presently. John Mark, are you there? I'm seeing you. Would you unmute?
Hi.
Hi, John Mark. You give me an idea of your present practice routine. Like how much hours you practice per day? What is your type of things you do?
Okay, so on a daily basis, while I'm practicing, I go to the range with a certain thought in mind on what I want to practice on that particular day. So whether it be irons, long irons, woods, putting, chipping, short game, whatever. And when I pick that task for that day, I try to spend at least 3 hours on that task, but I break it up into parts where it does not become mentally draining. So I would do like an hour, take a break, go back until I complete the 3 hours. And that will help build a lot of concentration, because you have to focus for that amount of time. Because we know a round of golf is not a short game. It's 4 hours, 4.5 hours. So that's what I do.
Excellent, John Mark. I think that work ethic is excellent. I think that, you know, we have juniors on this call who I know are putting in the hours in terms of practice. Some of us working people, older people, just roll off the bed and think we could go and execute. But I think it is important you practice even if you do at home, as Steve mentioned. But also when you go out on the course, those expectations can rob you of all that good training that you have done. Now, I want to end there. We just have a few more minutes left, but I want to reiterate that practice, yes, is important. But if you feel that you are practicing and you are getting very good results when you practice, but when you go out to score and you are playing the course, you have to play the course as if you are competing, yes. So I just got running out of time, so I just want to wrap up. It is important that you recognize that maybe during the round, some of your thoughts are depleting your confidence, and you stay vigilant. I have heard caddies, and I've heard parents, and I've heard colleagues tell other people, you know, make this change now, try this, do that, do the other while they're playing their round. And they just mess up the individual's round by doing that. And sometimes we do it to ourselves. When you go out there, you want to recognize if that is happening to you. You want to refocus with your different techniques, and you want to stick on your process goals. So observe yourself when you're playing your next round and see if any of those outcome goals pop into your mind, and how do you manage them and how do they make you feel. So I'm going to end the call there. We may adjust the timing for the next session, mental game session, because of things going back to normal with Coach Tony, and maybe we'll put it later in the week. But thank you very much for attending this session, and let's all continue to stay together to work on this together. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.